Let's get right into it. Number 6. Kids attack Bobo Doll. In 1961, psychologist Albert Bandura wanted to know if kids copy violent behavior. So he set up an experiment that would make modern ethics boards faint. He brought in 72 preschoolers and split them into groups. Some kids watched an adult absolutely demolish an inflatable clown doll. The adult punched it, kicked it, hit it with a hammer, and screamed things like "sock him in the nose." Other kids watched an adult play nicely with toys, completely ignoring the clown. And a third group didn't see any adult at all. The researchers let each kid play with some amazing toys for exactly 2 minutes. Then they told the kid those toys are for other children. Next, they put the child in a room with regular toys and that same inflatable clown doll. Kids who watched the violent adult went absolutely berserk on that clown. They didn't just copy what they saw, they invented new ways to attack it. Some grabbed toy guns that the adult never even touched. They repeated the exact phrases they heard, word for word. Meanwhile, kids who saw the peaceful adult mostly ignored the clown. The experiment proved that kids are like recording devices with legs. They see violence, they do violence, and they think it's perfectly normal. Bandura basically taught innocent children to be aggressive for science. These kids went from playing peacefully to beating up a doll because an adult showed them it was okay. The experiment changed how we think about TV violence and video games forever. Imagine being 4 years old, and some scientist just programmed you to be violent. Number 5. A class divided by hate. Picture a small Iowa classroom in 1968. Third graders sitting at their desks, completely unaware they're about to become part of one of the most disturbing psychological experiments ever conducted on children. Their teacher, Jane Elliott, walks in with a simple announcement. Blue-eyed children are superior. They're smarter, cleaner, better behaved. Brown-eyed children were inferior. Slower, less intelligent. The blue-eyed kids get extra recess, second helpings at lunch, front row seats. The brown-eyed kids have to wear colored collars around their necks, like marking cattle. They use separate water fountains, get criticized for every tiny mistake. Within hours, these sweet kids transform into something unrecognizable. The blue-eyed children become little tyrants. They taunt their brown-eyed classmates, call them names. One shy blue-eyed boy suddenly becomes a confident bully. The brown-eyed kids crumbled. Confident children can't solve simple math problems anymore. They slump in their chairs, some cry. Their test scores actually drop just from being told they're inferior. Day 2 arrives. Elliott flips everything, now saying brown-eyed children are superior and blue-eyed kids are the inferior ones. The collars switch necks. Now the brown-eyed kids, remembering their humiliation, sometimes dish out the same cruelty. The blue-eyed girl who was dominant yesterday became quiet and submissive today. These children internalized discrimination based on eye color. Friendships meant nothing. Cruelty became easy. All because an authority figure said one group was better. The truly creepy part is this works on adults too. Elliott repeated this experiment in corporate settings. On television shows, grown adults quickly adopted the same discriminatory behaviors. They turned on each other just as fast as the children did. It shows how easily anyone can create an us versus them mentality. How quickly we'll hurt others when told we're superior. How fast we'll believe we're worthless when told we're inferior. All it takes is someone in charge drawing an arbitrary line. Number 4. The RAT Decapitation Study. Back in the 1920 seconds, a psychologist named Carney Landis wondered if all humans make the same facial expressions when they feel the same emotions, like a universal sad or surprised face. Landis gathered a group of participants, mostly students. To better track their facial muscle movements, he drew dark cork lines all over their faces. Imagine sitting there, your face looking like a weird road map, waiting for the emotional roller coaster. Then he exposed them to a series of experiences. Some were pretty standard, if a bit unpleasant. Smelling ammonia, which stings your nose like crazy. Listening to jazz music. Looking at what was considered shocking material at the time. Participants were told to put their hand into a bucket filled with slimy frogs, without looking. You can imagine the faces people made for that one. Participants were presented with a live white rat. First, they were instructed to watch as Landis went to decapitate it with a knife. If a participant recoiled or showed distress, Landis handed them the knife. He told them to behead the rat themselves. You're a student. Lines drawn all over your face. And now a psychologist is pressuring you to kill an animal with your own hands. The really disturbing part is about 2/3 of the participants actually went through with it, even though many were clearly horrified and had no experience doing such a thing. For those who refused, Landis would often do it himself, right in front of them. After photographing all those stressed out, frog-slimed, rat-traumatized faces, he concluded there were no universal facial expressions. People reacted with a huge variety of expressions, even to the same stimuli. The experiment basically failed to prove his initial idea. Instead, Landis mostly proved that people will do some pretty shocking things when asked by an authority figure in a lab coat, and he created one of psychology's most ethically questionable experiments in the process. The images of those cork-lined faces, contorted in real distress, are hard to forget.